Where'd you want some? All right, are you gonna have it?
School and education was really important to my mom. So from the time I was little, she always said, you know, you need to go to college, you need to go to school. And it's the same things I've instilled in my kids as well. When I graduated from high school, and I was like, you know, it was natural. I was gonna go to college. Went to school for 2 years and decided I was gonna take a gap year. I ended up during that time having my firstborn. He was a beautiful surprise. He's 21 years old now, but that resulted in me taking some time from school. I ended up finding a full-time job, supporting him and realized like I need an education. And so I ended up going back for my undergrad. It was a great program in terms of independent study, right? I didn't have to go into classes, but I also missed out on engaging with other students. I missed out on those relationships, and I told myself if I ever went back to school again, that the gift I would give myself was the ability to be in a classroom, to connect with others. Probably 10 years later, I decided to go back to school, and I was researching a lot of different programs, but none of them quite felt right. I'm currently the Director of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion at Excellis, and I've been there in this role for a little over 3 years now. I never led diversity, equity, and inclusion before. And so there was always a part of me that felt a little uncertain, even if I exuded this confidence right on the outside. And that work, a lot of it was change management, a lot of it is leadership and organizational change. I kept hearing about Nazareth's program. It's in the title, Leadership and Organizational Change. This is what I need this inside scoop. What I really liked about the program was the fact that classes took place on the weekends. And that was important for me as a working mom. Part of the application, one of the questions actually was, how are you going to juggle this? Like, what are you thinking about in terms of how are you going to balance your responsibilities and your schoolwork? It actually resulted in a conversation between my wife and I. Not only what I needed, but how she was willing to support and how we were going to check in throughout, the program. The really key thing for me was the fact that it was a cohort of students that I could be with others, I could learn from others, and also think about how this relates to the real world, right? Oftentimes you're working with folks with a variety of different skill sets, and you have to figure out how are you going to come together and produce an end product. So my professors have been incredible. We've talked a lot about organizational culture, strategy, so not just who we are as leaders, what is the organization that we're working for, how do those values show up, how do you change organizations, and so much more. So I think it's also helped me and my peers really think about not only who we are, but where do we want to share our gifts and our talents? Are we in the right places in our lives? Am I where I want to be? And what's held me back if I have been in this place for so long? The more you learn, the more confident you can feel in your own abilities. That's what school has done for me, is that I've always felt really good about the work that I do and about my abilities, but it really has given me a newfound sense of confidence. One of my peers just recently took a huge leap, and she's been with the same company for over a decade and decided it was time to try something new. And in fact, she starts her new job just in a few weeks. We have a choice, right? We get to choose where we want to be, and this program has helped many of us find that sense of strength as well and confidence.